What's going on, everybody? Corey here, episode 3, dropping that knowledge like I try my best to. Um, yeah, man, I appreciate all y'all that's been tuning in, um, sticking with me, while I'm revamping my channel, uh, and being consistent. And I'm glad that I mentioned the word consistent because that's going to be sort of the basis of this video. It's more so advice, but consistency is going to be the central theme of this video, but mainly advice though. So pretty much, for those of you that might not know, I'm a music teacher. I've been teaching for like 5 years now here at a local recreation center. And I teach for a send through music. I make sure to drop the whole, the link and everything in the description. But I teach all ages. I've taught all ages, as young as 1 years old, all the way up to like what, 70 years old so far. And it's a free music program, so we bridging that gap between you know, money and music, right? Because we know, music lessons and things like that cost. But yeah, I just wanted to take the time, man, and just give the people, you know, advice from a music teacher, and just take the time and just demystify this stuff, man. When it comes to getting into learning and whether it's learning an instrument, music production, film scoring, engineering, the whole nine, music and audio, and but mainly music, right? So my biggest piece of advice that I usually give people when they come to me, whether it's like they found out I'm a music teacher or whatever, um, I like to tell people, man, in general, this could even be applied beyond music. You gotta enjoy learning, right? Music in itself is an adventure, right? It's so many different ways that music can be applied and learned and taught and things like that. But it's like you gotta enjoy the process in order to really like get into this, right? And I say that to say I find myself saying a lot of times to, students, no matter the age, don't focus on getting good. Just focus on learning. Just focus on getting the concept down and then go to the next step, right? Um, Ironically, um, YouTube is a great tool to learn, obviously, right? We all heard of the term YouTube University. And it's ironic I say that because I'm posting this on YouTube, but I would say be careful because sometimes the information that you getting is from all sorts of different sources and from people from all different levels and things like that, Um, but yeah, you just gotta enjoy learning. Learn how you can, right? Whether it's through YouTube, if you got access to a teacher, do it. Um, but regardless of all that, you gotta enjoy learning no matter what, right? If you don't enjoy learning something new, it's only a matter of time before you put it down, right? Now that's not to say the first thing that you pick up, whether it's the instrument, let's just keep it instruments for the sake of simplicity. That's not to say the first instrument that you're going to pick up is going to be the one that's for you. It's just to say if you don't even take the time to try, you're not going to know. Like for example, it's funny. This is sitting here. This was actually the very first instrument that I ever put my hands on. Not this specific one, but the harmonica. I don't play no harmonica no more, man. It's just because not because it's like I didn't have it in me to do music, but it's like I just didn't like it, you know? And that's okay. But that's my biggest thing, man. You got to sit and really try and pick at the pieces and really sit there and enjoy the process of learning because when you learning something new, no matter what it is, just to go beyond music for a second. When you learning something new, no matter what it is, you having the opportunity to learn yourself and you putting yourself in a new situation. So I just say all that to say enjoy learning, right? Enjoy the adventure. Music is an adventure. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the process, one concept at a time, right? Don't overload yourself because you're going to overwhelm yourself, and that's how you end up crashing and burning and putting it down and not wanting to pick nothing back up again, right? But just enjoy the process. I'm telling you, you just take your time, and before you know it, you'll be making goals. You'll be meeting your goals that you set for yourself. So now, my second piece of advice, which I feel like almost on par with the first piece of advice that I just gave y'all, but you should ask yourself, what are you learning this for? Right? What are you doing this for? Are you doing it for the sake of trying to pursue a career? Or are you doing it to, just pick up a new hobby, right? You might want to do this every week or something with your friends, or have a little bit of fun, or get together with like your local church, your local church friends or something, and y'all just get together and play and have fun, and then after that, y'all go off to work and y'all do it again next Sunday or anything, or regardless of your faith and stuff like that. But you know what I mean. What are you doing it for, right? Music is um music can be very contextual, right? I just started learning jazz piano myself. And the biggest thing that I learned from jazz piano is like it's contextual, right? If I'm playing a song and it's just me being a solo musician, I'm going to play differently than I would with a whole band, right? And I say all that to say is that when you know what you're doing something for and what you playing for and things like that, it'll really open your mind up and clear things up. Like a bit of a backstory, I started learning the piano when I was like 7 years old, right? Of course, me being 7 years old, I'm not thinking of no career and, oh, how can I make money with this? I just did it because, mainly my parents said, hey, this is something we think you would like. You're going to try it. And I tried it and I liked it and I stuck with it. And I didn't really know what I really wanted to do for a career until I was like 12, 13. And then once I knew, like, okay, I want to do music, I want to do something within the realm of music as a career, then that's when I started learning things differently, practicing differently, focusing on different things within the realm of music to get me to where I want to go, right? But I also feel like if I made that point in my mind, well, yeah, I don't really want to do music for a career. I want to do something else. Fun fact: I used to want to be a NASCAR driver when I was a little kid. If I was to stick with that instead of music, who knows if I would have ever even made this channel? You know what I'm saying? Or even became a music teacher, right? Or whatever. I just say all that to say, if you just really think about that question, what am I learning this for? And what am I hoping to get out of this, right? Because not everything is about money, to me. Not everything is about money, man. Sometimes you might not want to be um, pursuing this as a career. You might be extremely good at it, But if it relaxes you up here, then that's all you need to do it for, right? If that's all you know, that's what's important to you. I just need something new to relax me. That's your reason. You know what I'm saying? If you know like, hey, this started off as something relaxing, but I feel like I can take this further and you know, I feel like I can make this into a career, then do that. I just say all that to say that question will really help, will be very helpful and be one of the things that'll really guide you into going down the pathway that you want to go to when it comes to getting into the world of music and, learning an instrument and things like that. So, yeah, what are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? Even in some cases, who are you doing it for? Some people might have kids in their lives, a family, people they trying to take care of, you know, all sorts of stuff. And I will say, I'm gonna end it off like this: how making sure you practice in the right way, right, for yourself. So different musicians practice differently, right? But the biggest thing that most musicians and creatives have in common is we do set aside the time to practice, to fine tune our skills, right? Now, um, practicing might look different to you, like for, context, I got two jobs, a day job and a night job. I'm not going to have time to practice 6, 7 hours a day like some other musicians do. So for me, I got to fine tune my practice regimen and my practice schedule to make it work for me while still getting efficient results that's towards my goals. Um, and I'm keeping this pretty general, right? Because I don't know if I have any aspiring instrumentalists, audio engineers, producers, songwriters, right? But practice is practice, right? No matter what you getting into, practice is practice. I would just say make sure you practicing the right way. Don't focus on being too fast or even too slow. The biggest thing is knowing how to practice the right way, right? Focus on where you're not good at, fine tune that so that way you won't ingrain them mistakes and things like that and you thinking you doing it the right way but whole time you not, right? You might hear people say or hear the phrase practice makes perfect, but in a way, it might make sense like, oh yeah, of course, if you take the time and sit and practice and stuff, you'll get better. Sure, but if you're not practicing the right way, then practice will really be permanent, right? So if you so used to doing things one way and you don't have nobody in your corner saying, hey, you not playing that right, you not mixing that right, you not structuring the song right. You thinking that, okay, this one way I've been doing this for so long, and now here I am having somebody telling me that this was wrong. So now I gotta kind of go and revamp my whole thing, and sort of feel like you gotta start from square one. That's why it's very important to know how to practice, right? I would say the the correct way to really practice is focus on where you lack, right? Focus on where you lack. Focus on where you know you need to be better at. And also another form of like practice is play with other people. Play with other people. Be around other people that's trying to learn the same thing as you. Like the internet, that's a great, great, great tool, right? You can't deny it. great tool. You got access to thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube, but it's nothing like being in person and having somebody a little better than you trying to tell you and steer you in the right direction. You know what I mean? So not only practice with yourself, but practice with your community. You know, sit there and be around the same like-minded people that's trying to get towards the sort of same thing you are, which is learning something new, right? It's almost like college, right? College is optional to go to, but you know, when you get in college, you around like-minded people. You around people that's really trying to, you know, work towards the same thing as you. You know, especially if you in the same major. You know, y'all already got like minds because y'all in the same classes, y'all in the same field, same realm. Y'all trying to get to the same field. You know, so that's why I always say, um, you know, focus on practicing amongst yourself, but then try to get around other people that's doing the same thing as you. And if you can, seek out people that's better. You know, seek out a teacher, seek out a student that you might see, that you know day to day on campus or whoever, that you know you might see them play the guitar, you know, in between classes or something. You know, if you elderly, seek out the neighbor that live three doors down from you that you hear them playing their acoustic guitar and you know you just got one. And even if y'all never spoke a day in your lives before, now you got something in common, right? You got something in common. Knock on that door, be like, hey, I got my guitar too. I hear you play all the time. Help me out, you know? Because it's like, no matter how, you know, no matter how individualistic people seem, music is really like a communal thing, right? You know, without the people that's probably working in the factories and stuff to build the keyboards and stuff that we all buying, we wouldn't be able to have these things in our possession, and then in turn being able to play the music out. You know what I'm saying? So just focus on being communal. Focus on reaching out to people. Of course, make sure to know how to practice amongst yourself when you don't have access to these people. But don't just get caught up in, oh, I got to do everything on my own, and you know, it's different ways to just practice and get good at something. So just to recap, right? Advice number one: enjoy learning, right? Enjoy learning above all. Advice two: what are you learning for? Who are you learning for? That could be a totally personal reason. Every reason might not look the same as somebody else, right? But do it for that. And number three, learn how to practice the right way and talk to people. You know, get out in your community, talk to different people that might be doing the same thing as you, and you know, just take it from there. So I hope that helps. You know, I hope it made sense to those of you that stayed and watched through this whole, you know, 19-20 minute video. And yeah, like I said, I'm a music teacher, right? So if y'all ever have any questions or anything, hit me up. My email is in the description. Hit me up in the comments if that's easier. And yeah, you know, so I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all week wherever y'all at. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.